Pro Group Racing presents Show Us Your Tips. Daggy and Beaver with you to look towards a big weekend of winter racing, as big as it can be with a whole bunch of benchmark 72s. Beaver, looking forward to hunting the weekend?
Yeah, should be good. Some nice fields, a couple of open fields, some of the form, some good horses floating around. I think, there might be some competitive racing.
We'll kick off at Rosehill, where the rail is back in the true. Currently a heavy 9. I think with today, weather's good in Sydney today. We might even be lucky enough to get to a soft track tomorrow. Running line, typical sort of drying out Rosehill. Don't know if there's too much. We'll make sure we can make up ground first, but I don't think there'll be too many surprises in the track. We kick off with the 2-year-olds over the 1,400 metres, though, Beaver. How are you going to start the day?
Yeah, pretty competitive affair here, I thought. The top 4 in the market are all coming off really nice wins last start, actually, and all showing a bit of potential. So I think there might be a bit of quality come out of this race, all different form lines. I've just settled being early in the day on Vinny's Spirit from the Waterhouse stable. Thought it'd probably go forward and lead these, and I really liked the way it accelerated away over the 1,400 at Newcastle last start. That was impressive and was still really powerful on the line. So I think given it's had the experience over the 1,400, it jumps to the front here and can control the speed. I think it might be good enough to get away with this, but it'll have some good chases. Flag of Honour will probably be the main danger.
I had Alberich on top. I liked the first up win at Canterbury. Rio de Mina ran away. I know Arch of Titus didn't do a great deal at all on the Wednesday, but I think natural progression up in distance for this one suits Pike. You mentioned Vinny Spirit, agree there, and I like the combination. I mentioned a bit on Wednesday, and I think they had a couple of winners of Duller and Waterhouse. He's not afraid to actually get rolling, and up in distance is a big tick there as well. I just went away from the other provincial lead-ups a little bit. But I agree, those top couple in the market could all turn out to be talented horses. Race 2 is the Highway. Have you had a look at this?
Yeah, I have had a look at this, similar to the first. Number of horses coming off last start wins. But I was impressed with the way Valorum hit the line and went away from him when it got the split at Scone last start. Just sat off the pace and put a gap in him, carrying the 62.5. Gets a claim here for Tyler Schiller, back to 60. Gate 5 means it sits behind the pace here, and I expect it'll get the split and hopefully explode away from them again. I thought $5 was good value.
Trainer change from your man, formerly with the Massara yard, so still sticking sort of fat there, but that was too deep a race for me. I hadn't had time to get through that one. The race 3 is a benchmark 72 over the 1,200 metres, which I have looked at, and I'm going to go with Pretty Wild here. I thought just back to the inside last start, waiting for a jockey booking, but I assume it'll be Kathy O'Hara off, which tends to be a bit successful lately, and thinking it can bounce back here from Dehorned Unicorn, who I'm giving one last chance to beat the rest easy last time. First time blinkers, just got reeled in by a good wet tracker. Schofield goes on, second time, as I said, in blinkers, going forward for Pride. But I think Pretty Wild can bounce back there. What have you made of this one?
Yeah, look, I've gone for Smashing Eagle from the Hawke stable.
Yeah.
Really liked its first up win. That was good at Gosford. Again, just sat behind the pace and, it was pretty powerful to the line there. The extra 100 won't hurt it, and gets into this race really nicely weighted. I think the each way value around the $7 plus mark, I think that's pretty good here, and expect it to run well.
Really, really nice win actually at Gosford.
It was.
So good find there. Race 4 is the Midway. The nice deep Midway again. Benchmark 72. Could you find much here?
Nah, look, I wasn't keen on this race at all. Pretty hard to line the form up. If I was forced to have a pick and have a bet, I'd probably go Barticelli. I'll forgive it its first up run, and when it was in the market, and hope that it can bounce back. Now it's got that run out under its belt and out of the way.
Yeah, I just found negatives to everything I went looking for here. So maybe something each way, more or less, which was $15 when I did the form, and Barticelli perhaps back to midway from the Saturday from the Wednesday there, but not especially keen on anything there. The 1800 meters benchmark 88 comes up next. Tricky little race, but I'm a little bit keener here. I'm going to stick with Lord Ardmore second up. I like the resumption. Missed the run in between, but Waller stable, once you get this distance range, tend to have them ready to go. I like the booking of Bowman, which has it just ahead of Combella Fee for me. What have you done here?
Yeah, look, a tricky race here. Look, if you look at someone like Lord Ardmore, you would expect would continue to improve as they get up in the distances. Some really nice runs. Last preparation in Weight for Age, particularly at the Gold Coast, where it finished third behind Wheelhouse. I think it might have started favourite in that race. But I'm going to stick with Cumbella Filly based on getting into this race with 52 kilos. It's got 7.5 kilo pull over Lord Ardmore. It's got a little bit more fitness. Now it's fourth run in this prep and is flying at the moment. So I do like following and had a start over this distance last start and was pretty sound. I like following a good quality form in the winter. And for that reason, I'm just going to settle it on top in a race that looks to only have 3 chances.
Race 6 is a 1500 meter 78 for the 3-year-olds. This is probably the race of the day. It's an interesting little race, this one. What have you done? Yeah, who'd you find here?
Yeah, look, this was quite an open market and a tricky little race. I narrowed it down to 2. I thought there was only 2 chances in the end once I'd completed the form. I settled on Fiordland based on being third up, while I really loved the way it won at Canterbury last start. They backed it quite heavily and it came into about 7-4. And it just set off the pace and went away from him easy. Wasn't a high quality race. It was only the benchmark 72, so it steps up in grade here, but well weighted and Collett is riding well. So I headed on top, but obviously main danger is the top weight from the Cummings stable. Its last preparation was pretty good, but when it sort of got out over that sort of 1.25 miles, 2,000 metre, it was at its best. First up here, so it'd be interesting to see how wound up it is. But certainly first up over 1,500 can run well, but it's got 60, so it's got to give the other horse 6 kilos, and that's why I got it on top as well.
I started with the same 2, actually. The other way around. Again, probably paid less attention to weights than you have on this card, but on the sticky track, you've made some good points there. But the trials were okay for LCO and did some good stuff. One well fresh last prep, and it compared against some good horses, like some Mr. Brightside and co last prep. Trials have been good, and Bowman on. I think now's the time we can follow the Godolphin team, the resumers starting to head towards spring. Like I said, like the resumption of Fiordland, and the horse I didn't know what to do with, and happy for you to see, I think was Head of State. I've got a feeling it might be a dry tracker, and in which case it probably doesn't turn up here, but gelded does have a window over Profondo last prep, and I think has talent, but it also is a bit of, may just be a bit of a myth. So around $8, I may have something on it. Booking of Jay Ford probably suggests it's not ready just yet, but Alcyone from Fiordland for me, but just a real question mark on Head of State. That was a head scratcher here. Any thoughts on any of that, or we'll move on?
No, look, I don't disagree with you there. Probably want to have a look at it first up and see how it's come back. Again, as you said, it's up in the weights here and resuming. I expect it'll do better later in the prep.
1400 meter benchmark 88 is, I guess, the main event on the card here. What have you done with this motley crew?
Yeah, look, I was pretty keen on the number 8 Brimstone here from the Widdop stable. Pike aboard, I thought again its win at Randwick last start over the 1400 was pretty impressive. Beat Highly Desired quite comfortably, and that's come out and franked that form quite comfortably in that
on
race.
Wednesday.
Was well found in the market. Yeah, on Wednesday. It won super easy. And then prior to that, its form was pretty solid, a couple of seconds. One of those behind Crosstalk, who won well last start. So I think since coming from New Zealand, 3 runs have been outstanding. Gets in here again, I've mentioned earlier, but extremely well weighted, 53.5. That's a 5 kilo drop on last start. Gate 7, Pike can get it wherever it wants to sit, and I thought around the $3.70 to $4 mark at the moment is quite good odds.
I started this race keen and then became less and less keen, but I thought Grand Rumore was the starting point here. I liked its win last time. I liked it. It probably should have won its last 2 down south. Comes back up here. I like the fact they've kept it fresh and spacer runs this prep. It seems to be working for it. And the cut of the track doesn't seem to be an issue. So I started with it on top because at first I was going to pen Brimstone, but I ended up coming back around to it a little bit, which through a spanner it works for him. But I've got it on top from Brimstone. You've covered that off. And I think Yee Resuming was the other one. Again, Waller up in the weights on a wet track, perhaps, or question marks. But goes in the quaddie for me. I thought, Grand Rumore from Yee and Brimstone in race 7. Race 8, another.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Yee is a good, does have a definite chance around the $8 mark. It goes well fresh. It has got some decent form on wet tracks, and at this distance and this track runs well. Hasn't been out of the placings at this track, so you'd expect it to run well.
Yeah, so they were the 2 I was real keen on, but like I said, Brimstone down in weights. I think there'll be a bit of intent there. Race 8, 1,800 meters is up next, and I've just noticed perhaps inevitably the Milky Bar kid has come out, leaving this maybe one of the worst races I've seen on a Saturday since probably last week.
Yep.
Flexible on top, not keen. What am I supposed to say? There's not a lot here.
You've just said what I was going to say. The 2 best horses that come out of this field are similar. I had Flexible on top, but if it's going to win a race, it's 4th up now, 1,800, and this is the weakest field it's met in a fair time. The only other danger I thought was First Light, the British horse who's come here. It's first up was at Caulfield, behind Miracle Lad, who's going good at the moment, but comes up here now. It could surprise, but they kind of had those 2, probably play each of those if I was going to have a bet.
And look, now with the leader out, Caesar's Palace might get this lead all to himself if Collett's willing to go forward. So they'll love the invasion or roll forward as well. But yuck. We'll move on. 1,400 meter for the girls. Benchmark 78 is up next. This Frumos looks talented. I don't know what it's beaten in a couple of races at Newcastle, but has done it quite well. I was surprised by the price when I first saw it. So I actually went looking for a couple at value. I think Torfik Lass was a nice win last time. He gets through the weather right, and you're getting it close to 20s. And Sir Lemur's going quite well. Cut of the ground hasn't been an issue, and that's the Bowman choice here. But I assume down in the weights for Waller will be the intent that Frumos can wrap these up. I just don't like the price at all. What have you done?
Yeah, I've got Frumos on top. I think it'll be winning this race. Waller generally places these horses quite well and steps them through the grade quite well, particularly in the winter. This race doesn't have a lot of depth to it. Sir Lemur is definitely going well. Illafare, I thought, was disappointing last start. Not even sure that it'll run here. I can't see you getting any better than even money here, and I think if you'll be getting the chocolates anyway.
No, fair call. Illafare is one I probably could have looked for, but I'm suggesting probably doesn't run given we don't have a jockey yet.
I thought it was disappointing last start, to be honest.
Yeah, it plugged a bit up the straight. I don't know how much, again.
Just plugged.
Yeah. 1,100 metres wraps us up, another 78 with scratchings involved. Are you giving Shades of Rose another chance? You probably have to, given we're talking about taking evens a couple of weeks back. You're now going to get $3 in a worse field. So is on top, has trialled since and didn't. Obviously, something went very wrong last time. I think maybe $3 could be a spoil here because this is much weaker than what it was set to resume against.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the $3, or even better than $3 at the moment, could be a spoil. Willing to forgive last run. I think it played up at the barriers as well. So it was obviously a little bit unsettled, hence why it's had to go back and trial. And that just was probably a little bit out of the ordinary. You got to assume that it won't carry on like that. This race, and if it goes to the barriers reasonably settled, then you definitely want to be on.
Very good. I guess it's up to me to pull out a Sydney quaddie now. For progroupracing.com.au, of course, check them out for their free tips, extensive guides, some nice form guides coming soon, I've been told. So check them out, sign up to their mailing list, and follow along as we head into spring. First leg at Rosehill, number 1, Too Much to Bear, 2 Yee, 6 Grand Rumore, and 8 Brimstone. Into, 3 Flexible, 6 Caesar's Palace, 8 Love the Invasion, 2 Nicky's Fling, 4 Sir Lemur, 7 Tawfiq Lass, and 13 Frumos. And we'll come home with 1 Snow Zone and 12 Shades of Rose. Have you got a best in value for Rosehill?
Yeah, my best is race 9, number 13, Frumos. I think it looks like the standout bet on the card. And my value bet comes up in race 3, number 12, Smashing Eagle, about the $8 mark.
Yeah, I think it's a nice value bet. I'm going to go with Alberich in the first as my best. I'm just a bit icky about some of those short price ones later in the day. That said, by the time I'm 4 beers deep at the pub, I'm sure I'll be loading up. Value, Grand Rumore in race number 7. We head down to Flemington where the rail's out 4 meters, rain around. So we'll keep an eye on the track, which is currently rated a heavy 8. So it should be okay, but we'll watch for scratchings down the middle of the track by the end of the card, as usual at Flemington when it's a bit wet. Kick off again with the 2-year-olds up the straight over the 1,000 meters, where I'm going to start the day with the one I suggested a bit last week, Tap and 3. Trialled a bit better, I thought, than the stablemate Cattell, who came out and won well last week. Drawn probably the right part of the track, and Linda Meach booked here, so I think can start the day well. From Giga Kick, who obviously was very impressive at Sale on debut and should be up on pace and hard to beat. How are you starting off Flemington?
Yeah, I've gone the same way. I've gone Tap and 3, tried really well, and I think might have a little bit of ability. And at the price, I'm just willing to play that. Obviously, Giga Kick has some ability, but Tap and 3 for me. Race
2 is the 3-year-olds over the 1,700 meters, which we seem to have one of these weird 3-year-old staying races every week in Melbourne now. Who do you like here?
Yeah, pretty open race here. All these horses always promise to win a race and sometimes rarely do. I'm going to settle on Philosopher. Thought it's been consistent enough and it is ready to win a race now. This could be its chance. Flemington suit 1,700. Got it on top.
Yeah, I found similar. I think Oceania Blue fits this race better and Flemington better than it did last week at Caulfield. But I think the wet and up in distance does suit the Lassafol. It needs a win. But I had it on top from Oceania Blue, and Hearts and Minds is going okay, a bit of a claim, but yeah, not a big investing race anyway. Race 3 is the Rising Stars final, 1,600 meter benchmark 70 for the girls. Not only an impossible race to try and do form on, it's an apprentices race, Beaver. Could you find anything you want to back here?
Well, mate, it's a race. You can have a bet. So I did do the form, and I come up with Spanish Tides here. Third up now. First runner back was pretty good. Finished off the 1200 quite nicely, and then stepped up the extra 300 to the 1500 at Cranbourne. And I thought that was an impressive enough win. Finished off the race really nicely. Again, it's now up to the 1600, drawn well enough in gate 4, and I thought around $6 could give us a sight.
Nice. I ended up having It's True on top, just because it looks like the wet tracker in the race. Chased Cyclone Sally, actually ran pretty well in Sydney last week, all things considered. And I might have something on Pitch and None just because Alana Kelly's riding it in this race. The staying race on the card, a 2800 race where Through Irish Eyes once again's favourite, does get Jamie Carr. Do you want to back it? Not even a little bit, do you?
Well, I did put it on top, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's only three. I only could find 3 chances in the race. Through Irish Eyes, Horrifying, and Mimi's Award. I thought Mimi's Award got the better of Horrifying last start.
Yeah.
And so I kind of come down to Mimi's Award and Through Irish Eyes, but I just thought Irish Eyes, if it's ever going to win a race, this is it. I know it's been consistent of late, and it is hard fit. Freshened up slightly for this race. Gets Carr aboard. Yeah, I've got it on top. I think it can break through.
Yeah, I've just gone with Mimi's because it's not Through Irish Eyes. That was the only logic. I don't think anyone else can win the race. Yeah, we'll move on. Race 5 is the 1800 metres. For the 2-year-olds, we're much keener because I like the chances of Quang Tree here. I was really impressed. Sat 3 wide and won pretty impressively at Flemington last time. May have to do the same from gate 11. Hopefully get a nice cut into the race, but I think it's got a fair bit on the rest of these. These are now the leftovers of the 2-year-olds that are looking for a win out in distance because they weren't quick enough to win anywhere closer. So I think Quang Tree might have a fair bit on these. I think it's be a comfy watch at the 220 and best of the day for me. Beaver?
Yeah, I couldn't quite work out why there wasn't odds on.
No.
I thought 220 was pretty good odds because I kind of went through this and I looked at this, like the second favourite ran 8th in its only run, was 60s, behind Grazinga Bishop, who was, only okay last start. The third horse in the market, which is Trans Am, was a couple of lengths behind Quang Tri last start, so it was 40s. It's probably, the main danger. The rest, they've all been pretty average in their only race start, so I couldn't quite work it out. This just looks a good bet.
Yep. As I've said, not much more to add. 1,000 metres, benchmark 78, kicks off the quaddie where Squid Game heads the market. Beaver, what are you doing here? This isn't a bad little race, actually.
Not a bad little race, but again, Squid Game gets its chance here, that's for sure. It's been good, this preparation. It's just been running into some quality horses. First up behind Star Patrol, then was pretty good. Came home hard against Passive Aggressive, and then ran second to Inundation, who I know failed last start, but was pretty good in that event. And Squid Game was held up and didn't get a clear shot of him at Caulfield there. Got way back in the field and flew home. So based on that, I think, again, Squid Game is going to be super hard to beat. Flemington shouldn't have any problems getting a clear run here, sits in behind them. And Paddy Payne should have this ready to win.
Yeah, I agree. Not much more to add. If there's a danger here, I think it's Naswari who's flying for the new stable and double figures. But this is Squid Game's race. It all falls in line. And Craig Williams had a decent day Wednesday. He's back to his best in these sort of races. Race 7 is a 2,000 metres staying race here, where I like the trials of interpretation heading into this, coming from the overseas form, won a trial pretty comfortably. Had to be shaken up a couple of times, but was pretty soft through the line there. It comes here in a race where I don't think there's that many chances. I think it will run well from D'Aguilar, our old mate, who was never going to win at all last start until the last 100 metres. Soft gate, gets through the wet all right. I think they're the two main ones. Obviously, with some respect to Mankane, who's enjoying the wet tracks at the moment. What have you done?
I thought this race was a bloody beauty. The top 5 in the market, I think there's 5 chances, and they're all the top 5 in the market, all similar odds, sort of that 450 to 650 mark. And I think you could make a case for all of them. Funnily enough, I come up with interpretation as well. Really like the trials. Thought its form coming out of France, Great Britain, and Ireland all looked pretty good in group races there, and wasn't far off them. So I thought that was pretty good. First up over the 2000 shouldn't be a problem. So I had it on top, but Mankane is flying at the moment. Really like the way it let down last start. He's a shocker in the Aguilera. Both very nice runs last start, so there wasn't much splitting in. And Blue Cup is also a
Blue Cup was a nice debut too.
That has some form.
Yeah,
it was a nice debut as well behind Lyrical Lad. Really hit the line hard. Look, all 5 of those have genuine chances. Interpretation on top for me. Mankane possibly the hardest.
Another good race, the 1400 metres is race 8 for the 3-year-olds. What have you made of this lot?
Yeah, similarly again, a number of chances that are all in the market here. Probably the top 6, all of the top 6, I think, genuine chances here. I settled on Pesquera. Really liked, it's only lightly raced, only had the 5 starts, and its first up run was pretty good behind Passive Aggressive. Showed some speed and stuck to its task quite well. When last in work, did run 7th behind the Totsu in a Group 1 at Flemington, and 2nd in a Group 3 behind Pinstripe, all of which were pretty good before its early wins in its career. I think it'll be improved by that first up run, bit fitter, Oliver aboard. I think it can run a nice race.
Yeah, I agree. I found the same horse. Nice resumption. You mentioned a hot race there. Format of that, I think the first 2 have definitely won since. Comes here, sets up well, gets Oliver from Newitt, which is good as well, and will run well from Jimmy the Bear, who's flying in double figures again. And Flemington sets up okay for Daytona Bay. I suppose you have to say it was a little bit unlucky last time. But there's another chance, very tricky leg of the quaddie, because I'd be looking even to throw something like Shove Over up in distance. But it a good race, Pesquera from Jimmy for me. We wrap up over the 1200 metres with another good race up the straight, or tricky race, where I'm going to go with the blue colours on top. Tamerlane sets up well here, 2nd up. Nice enough resumption, maybe just a bit far out of its ground, chasing Waihaha. Obviously, that form looks pretty good. It gets Ollie and outside gate by this time all suits. I think will run well. I think back in distance for Selboros will suit it. Led up the last couple and just did run the 1400 metres twice. Suits it there, and obviously Bill the Box is flying. But blue colours on top for me, Beaver.
Yeah, look, I've gone for number 15, Incredulous Dream, from the Maher-Eustace stable, car aboard. Goes a treat first up. It's won 2 of its 4 starts. It's won $250,000 this horse, and has some really good form in Sydney. I'm hoping it can bring that similar form down to Melbourne. A couple of preps ago, won a listed race at Morphettville, and also started, I think, in the Stradbroke maybe into 2021 up at Eagle Farm.
Yeah, Dane Ripper.
She's won by Brooklyn Hustle.
Yeah,
the Dane Ripper. That's it.
Yeah.
And then last preparation, its form was in against good horses. Snap Dancer ran a nice race behind, and some other decent form lines through the Sydney form lines. I'm expecting it can go well first up. So I've got it on top. I thought Tamerlane looked hard to beat as well.
Lovely. Very, very tricky task for you to do the quaddie here, but have a crack at it.
Yeah, look, I will have a crack at it. The first leg, I'm going number 2, Naswari, number 9, Squid Game, number 12, Veranaskova. In the second leg, I'm going 1, Mankayan, number 3, Interpretation, 4, D'Aguilera, 9, He's a Shocker, 11, Blue Cup. In the third leg, I'm going number 4, Pesquero, number 5, My Yankee Girl, number 7, Daytona Bay, and number 8, Philadelphia Storm. And in the last leg, I am going number 4, Pioneer River, number 6, Bill the Boxer, number 12, Unanimous, number 13, Tamerlane, and number 15, Incredulous Dream.
Nice. Your best and value for progretracing.com.au.
Yeah, my best bet, I had 2 best bets. I had Quang Try in race 5, number 1, all into race 6, number 9, Squid Game. I thought they presented the best 2 bets on the day.
It feels a lot like a card.
Value,
if this was a good track, it'd be a real good betting card.
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry,
and
Kev.
my value bet comes up in race 9, number 15, Incredulous Dream.
I'm going to make Tamerlane my value in the last, and I agree with you. My best of the day is Quang Try. Could be tempted to have an all up into Squid Game, same as you. I think they're 2 standouts on the card. We head up north. What do you got up for? What do you got for us up there?
Yeah, I got a few up north for us. Starting off race 1, number 12, Lethal Warning, around the $4 mark. Thought it could run well. Race 4, number 5, Kalis. Broke through last start. I think he can go on with another one there. Race 5, number 3, Honeypot, gets its chance tomorrow after 3 nice runs. This sets up well for it. And my
Ryan
final
Maloney
one
sets up well there. Sorry.
Yeah. And my last one in Eagle Farm, race 7, number 12, Betigo, resuming.
Lovely. Good job, Beaver. Good luck this weekend, punters. Looks some good betting around Australia. Take care, of course. Check out progretracing.com.au for everything going on there. And we'll be back next Tuesday night with our midweek preview. Talk soon.